today. First of all, thank you and good afternoon for everyone to having me here. My name is Mafalda Cuncha Luis and I'm a lawyer of immigration and real estate in Portugal. I came from a law firm that is headquartered in Lisbon and the name is Caiado Guerreiro. We are set in Lisbon since 1979, so we have a lot of experience in all the matters of the law, not only immigration and real estate, but we are a multi-jurisdiction law office. So we can see that we have already 40 years of experience on working on several areas like labor, immigration, and others. However, we are not only located in Lisbon, but we have other two offices, one in the north, in Porto, and one in the south, in Faro. And we also have offices in all the Portuguese-speaking countries because it's a reality that is really close to us, and we thought it was important to keep this dynamic. Also, due to the fact that we have a lot of international clients, we have office in Madrid and in Malta, and we have a colleague in Beijing, China. We are also awarded by several directors of law with several awards, and here you can see that we are one of the top 10 law firms in Portugal, where we can see that we have more than 100 lawyers. For the immigration matters, my law office decided to create a department that is dealing exclusively with these type of situations. A department has different lawyers that speak more than one language. All of them are bilingual and they can speak in Mandarin, German, Russian, French, Italian, Spanish, and other language. So we have developed our program thinking about the mobility that is now currently taking more and more straight in the world. However, what brings me today here is to speak to you about the Golden Visa. And what is the Golden Visa for the Portuguese perspective? It's a temporary residency that is granted to citizens of third countries. That means that you cannot be a citizen of a European Union citizen or being from a country that is economically related to European Union or Portuguese. This program is a benefit for you because it allows you to enter Portugal without a residency visa at first for requesting this type of visa. Then you can work here, you can study here, or you just live here. You can pick one. It's not mandatory because you only need to stay 7 days per year in the country. You will have a temporary residency without being mandatory that you live in the country. Also allows you to have the right to circulate in the Schengen area. We have a really high right of reunification of family members. So you can reunificate your spouse, your sons with more or less than 18 with no limitations, also your parents-in-law and your own parents. All other possibilities that the program gives to you is the fact that you can apply for permanent residency or for nationality after 5 years. But let me explain now another thing is the fact this Golden Visa offers a lot of options of investment. It's not only focused on one type of investment, but there is an option for everyone. So first of all, we have the option regarding deposit banks. So you can decide to make a capital transfer of 1 million and you keep it in a bank for 5 years. Then you have the option of investing 350K in the venture capital funds or to buy bonds from the government. Another option of investment is a creation of 10 jobs. So you just, for example, open a company and you employ 10 people and you can apply for the Golden Visa. Another option is to make an acquisition of companies or to make incorporation or capital reinforcement of 350 plus the creation of 5 job positions. Now, regarding real estate, there is 2 options. The purchase of a real estate for 500,000, and it can be any type of real estate, a villa, a plot, an apartment, and land. It can be new or old, any type, or you can have the option of buying for 350 a real estate that is under rehabilitation. That means to have more than 30 years old or located on the rehabilitation areas of the country. The last two options that are less picked by the investors are the donation to artistic purpose of 250 or the donation for research and scientific activities of 350. The most picked options by the investors are those for capital transfer of 1 million, investment of 350 and funds, or the real estate options, the 500K or the 300K. Regarding the first one, it's really simple. You just need to open a bank account in Portugal and you make the transfer of 1 million to your bank account in Portugal from abroad to this bank account. And then you can make the payment of the bonds or you purchase the shares from this bank account, or if you are just making a deposit, you just keep there the 1 million. The second most picked option is the investment in 350K, where you again open the bank account to transfer the 350, and then from this 350 you invest in the fund. We have several types of funds, and the fund can have a lot of different scopes. However, you need to be aware that all the funds needs to be already approved by the commission that approve this type of funds. So it's a safe investment on this perspective. Third option, it's the half a million real estate option, where, as I was saying, it can be any type of real estate, villa, plot, apartment, any condition. It can be own and co-ownership, so you can apply with your friend or any family member. However, in this case, each one of you needs to pay half a million. And also, you can submit the application with a promissory agreement. You don't need to wait for the public deed to submit. If you pay the half a million in advance, you can submit it. And also really important is the fact that once you acquire real estate for the Golden Visa purpose, you can still give it for rental or commercial purpose after the acquisition. And here for this option regarding the previous one, the only difference is the fact that the property needs to have more than 30 years old or be located in the rehabilitation area of the city. So when you are paying for the 350, you can combine the fact that the real estate price and the construction works that you need to perform. So in total, you need to do 350. And this is an option for having a more personalized real estate, because since it's mandatory to do the rehabilitation works, you can personalize as you wish. So here, it's a way for you to have a global image of how the Golden Visa investment will work. So you pick your option of investment. And for that, we always recommend to have some expertise and advisor to help you to pick what is best for your kind of investment purpose. And you should do a due diligence and all the options that you are looking for to be sure that is qualified for the Golden Visa. You will sign the documents that are necessary, and you will need to open the bank account in Portugal. This is really important because the proof that you made the investment is made by the bank declaration that will attest that you transfer from abroad to your local bank account in Portugal the amount for the investment, and you paid from that bank account. So once all these steps are made, you can make the conclusion of the investment with a payment to the real estate or the funds, or you do the investment contract and you ask for the entities to issue the proof that the investments were made. After that, you only go and you submit your request for the Golden Visa application online. And once it's pre-approved, you can come to the country and collect biometrics that will be stamped on your card or residency card. That should be approved in 3 to 9 months according to the option of investment and the location that you are picking to submit your application. So look, branch of the immigration office in the big metropolitan areas took more time than the ones from small cities in the islands. Regarding documents, those are the documents that are necessary for apply for the Golden Visa. Regarding the investor, you need to have a passport with the validity of at least 6 months once you enter the country. And to enter the country to submit the Golden Visa, you can enter with a Schengen visa. You don't need to request other type of visa to enter. Also, once you enter the country with the visa, you only need to have an health insurance that covers Portugal. You will need to have a criminal record issued less than 3 months ago, saying that you have no criminal record. And you need to have the proof of your tax identification from your country of residency. One thing that is important is all the documents that you are submitted needs to be translated and legalized into Portuguese. Regarding family members, all of these documents will be also applied, but additional, they will need to have the proof of the link to the main investor. So in the case of the spouse, additional, he or she will need to provide a wedding certificate issued less than 6 months ago. Kids will need to provide the birth certificate, again, issued less than 6 months ago. Parents also need to provide a birth certificate regarding the investor. And when you have kids with more than 18 years old, they need to provide a proof that they are single, studying, and economical dependent. All the documents translated and legalized and issued less than 6 months ago, except for the criminal record 3 months ago. Also, you need to be aware that you will need to pay for fees. And we are speaking here of immigration fees on the immigration office in the value of 533 for the investor and 83 euros for the family members. All of these for the pre-analysis of the documents. However, what is a big difference when you do the 5 years? Once you do 5 years of holding a Golden Visa card, you have 2 options. And the options are you can renew again your temporary residency and keep it temporary, and you still only need to stay in the country 7 days per year. Or you can request a permanent residency where no residency is required, but you need to prove that you speak A2 level of Portuguese. However, you obtain a card for 5 years instead of the 2 years of the renewal. Also, additional to the renewal of the Golden Visa or request of the permanent residency, you can request the Portuguese nationality, since our law states that everyone that holds a temporary residency for 5 years is entitled of requesting the Portuguese nationality. That means that you can request the Portuguese passport, and you need to prove that you speak A2 level of Portuguese. It's the only additional document, more or less, regarding the renewal of the Golden Visa that you need to attest. And one of our passports is ranked as level top 3 in the index of the passports. However, today I also want to speak about another thing that you can cumulate with the Golden Visa, because Golden Visa is a residency card that allows you residency in Portugal. However, there is another regime that is a tax regime, and here it's not a civil residency, it's a tax residency that I will speak about. And this regime is called a non-habitual tax regime that was created in Portugal, and it's applicable for someone that, not having been qualified as a tax residency in Portugal for the past 5 years, or did not stay in Portugal for 183 days consecutive or interpolate in any 12 months period concerning or ending the year. This is a regime that is really good when you have a high income, because you submit your application and you get approved in 48 hours, and allowed you for not being taxated on your income. and it's a regime that is applicable for 10 years once it's approved. So it's a way for you to save the amount of taxes that you are paying. So if you're in a country that doesn't taxate the people that is not residency, and you apply for this regime, you will have a full exemption because you will not be taxable. Now I would like to finish my presentation with giving you another reasons why should we invest in Portugal and the Portuguese programs. First of all, Portugal was voted third safest country in the world and the most safe in Europe. We are now one of the best countries to live, to retire or visit after COVID-29 according to Forbes. Also, we are accessible and international qualified with healthcare system, political stability, and social rights. We are the most welcome European country in the world for foreigners, citizens, according to Internations. Also, we are the sixth most spoken first language in the world, and we have freedom of expression, religion, sexual and racial tolerance, and appreciate of female leadership. Our universities are qualified in all the international directories, and also with our programs, you have access to our passport that gets you access to more than 185 countries. Also, a lot of people ask us if the program is good, can you have profits from the investment that you are doing? And those are some numbers that you can see by yourself, how profit can be the investment and how many people are applying to this program. So if so many people are doing it, it cannot all be wrong. So you can see a lot here of applications, a lot of reunification. As I was mentioning, we have a really big way of reunifying family members. So this is a big incentive for a lot of people. Also here, you can see the final numbers of the program. This was issued in May 2020, so 1 month ago, and give you the total numbers of the program. The program was created of October 2012 and is in force until the present date. So here you can see the total numbers. So here you can see the total numbers that was given to main applicants that are here divided by nationality. First of all, is people coming from China, followed by Brazil, Turkey, South Africa, and Russia. These are our top 5 nationalities applying. Also, this is a number of totally family members that applied from this number of main applicants. The most picked option is the real estate acquisition with this number of applicants, followed by the applications regarding 350 real estate, and this the option of investment in 1 million is only picked by 492 people, and the one regarding creation of jobs 17. And this is the total number of investment in Portugal during 2012 to 2020. So those numbers are issued by the government, so it's the data that we have available for now. And this was my presentation. Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Mafalda. Very well presented there, and I'm certainly a big fan of Portugal, having spent a lot of time there, and the data that you've provided in terms of why it's a destination worth considering, I can certainly reinforce. One question I do have for you: are you seeing a trend of where people are investing when it comes to the real estate? For example, at the beginning of the program in Lisbon seemed to be where most of the investment was taking place. Are you seeing a trend that people are now moving maybe towards Porto or other parts of the country?
Well, as you can see, when you're thinking about a country, you're always thinking about the capital. So it's normal to go first for the capital, and then when the country starts to be more known, you go to the other cities, because also the other cities are less developed than the capital. So yes, at the beginning, most of the investment was in Lisbon, but now we are seeing that it's being spread all over the country, especially when you got the option of 350 on rehabilitation.
Yeah, that's how I was understanding it. There's opportunities in other parts when it's the rehabilitation, restoration of heritage buildings, etc. They tend not to be in the capital, Lisbon, as you say, but more in the on the outside. Are you seeing a trend towards the Algarve? People who maybe want to have a holiday home, is there more opportunities now in the Algarve than there maybe wasn't in the past?
Algarve was always a really welcome part for investing, and even together with Lisbon at the beginning was always a hotspot for this investment, but it has a different target because the Algarve area that is in the south is more for people that are looking for retirement as a permanent home, or someone that is looking for investment for spend vacations, not as investment, as a way of renting to the local market and take a profit out of it.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, it's and certainly the numbers that you presented, you can see the enormous success that the Portugal program has had. Do you see that continuing now that we're seeing more programs sort of competing, let's say, for the same client who are looking for residence in Europe?
I think the Portuguese program has proved that really successful. We are at least almost 80 years old. So we are something that is really stable. The investors already know all the perks and joys of the program, and they know what they are expected, and they have a lot of friends that already been doing this. So we are receiving a lot of qualifications for the program, especially now that more options were open to invest and more type of investors can apply.
Okay, very good. And we have a couple of quick questions specific to Portugal that have come in, which, if you don't mind, I'll ask you now. Once someone purchases the property to qualify for the program, once the citizenship is obtained, can they sell the property? And what taxation could apply with respect to the sale of a property?
So regarding the acquisition, once you obtain the citizen from Portugal, you can sell your real estate, no problem, because you will no longer being a part of the residency program since you are a Portuguese. Regarding the taxation, when you sell a real estate in Portugal, you need to pay the income that you are obtaining. So if you are selling for the same price that you purchased, you have no income because there is no benefit, so you have no taxation.
Okay. And in terms of the property that, let's say, I think you said in your presentation, it can be any type of real estate, but does the property need to be authorized by the Portuguese government in any capacity, or is that more as it relates to the purchase price? So if, for example, if someone wanted to get a restoration or a rehabilitation property, would that have to be approved? Can you expand a little bit on that for us, please?
Of course. So when I'm saying it can be any type of real estate, needs, of course, to have a license. And you need to have a license of use, of construction, if the property is still under construction, or you need to have a license of use if the property is already ready. When you are telling here that you don't need to have a pre-validation of the government to purchase, means that if the property is licensed according to the law, to construction or use, you can buy it. The government will not issue a declaration saying that only this list of properties can be purchased. No, it's applied for all the country, but needs to be constructed and built according to the law.
Okay, no, that's very clear, because in some programs, it's approved projects that can apply. So that's a very good clarification. And in terms of getting an evaluation of the property to ensure that it's a fair market price as opposed to being inflated to meet the requirements of the program, is there what's the process for getting an evaluation on the value of these properties?
So in Portugal, we believe in free market. So if the parties agreed on the price, it's not against the law to purchase for that price. The only thing that we have here in Portugal is the certificate. A tax certificate is a document that is issued for the property, and one of the mentions on this document is the value of the property for the tax authorities. This value is calculated according to a mathematical formula, and will be the value that you will pay for regarding taxes.
Okay, very good. So it avoids people inflating the price because they have to revert back to this this original valuation, correct?
No, not really, because normally the purchase price is much higher than the value of the tax, because the tax is flat. It's according to this formula, and it doesn't consider other external factors. So the acquisition don't need to be anything related to this.
Okay, very good. And are there any, we have obviously an audience, a global audience today. Are there any restrictions of nationalities who can apply? You know, we see in some jurisdictions there's restrictions for Iranians or Afghanis and such like. Is there anything like that for the Portugal program?
As long as they can open a bank account and provide a criminal record without any felony or crimes, there's no restrictions. I have clients from Iran that already submit applications, so I don't see a restriction on this part.
Okay, very good. Again, always important to clarify, because some programs are more flexible, and you touched on a very important point. It's about the banking, right, and that side. So unfortunately, someone from Iran is likely to have some more challenges when it comes to the transfer of funds, etc. Another question we've had is, do you envisage there will be an end to this program, or do you think it's going to be ongoing? Is there any guidance from government of a cap or an end date for the Golden Visa?
Regarding the government, there is no guidance that the program will soon be over. They were expecting to have some changes in the beginning, but nothing was regulated regarding this matter. So for now, we don't expect any type of changes at the short term or medium term, or at least until the end of the year, to the program. So no.
Okay, that's good. That's a nice positive outlook, you know, to because it's been a very strong economic success for Portugal, so it wouldn't make sense to stop it unless there was an important reason. One final question that we've had here is with respect to getting to the language exam. And if someone was not able to pass the language exam, obviously that would stop them from getting the citizenship. But can they just maintain their residency status with a residence card if they're unable to pass the language test and graduate to citizenship?
Yes, you can continue renewal the Golden Visa and having a 2 years card. When you don't have a certificate that attests that you have proficiency on Portuguese of A2.
Okay, no, that's fine, because it's you know, for some people, I mean, if you're applying from Brazil and you already speak Portuguese, it's not a problem. Yes. But if you're coming from another country where it's you know, even somewhere like Russia, for example, where it's a different alphabet, it's a whole different language to learn, that could be something that applicants are maybe concerned about. Have you, obviously the program's been in existence long enough now. Have you seen the majority of your clients from the beginning who have gone full circle, who have been able to maintain the residency requirements, pass the language test, and now become citizens of Portugal? Are you seeing that most people are achieving that?
Not all of my clients want to become Portuguese, because some of them are coming from countries that only allows one nationality and they prefer to keep their own. For Portuguese, as Portuguese, we can hold as many passports as you want, so it will never be a problem for us to grant passports to third citizen. Regarding my clients, all the ones that wanted to have the citizen, they were granted, and they had no problems regarding this matter.
Okay, very good. Well, I'll thank you, Mafalda, for all your wonderful information.